Good morning. Good morning. We are ready to get started. We are just so glad to have all of you all here today. My name is Tirsa Smith. I'm a member of the Knoxville Alumnae chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and we are just so happy to invite you to our 2021 Crimson Conversations, Mental Health and Mindfulness. I think it goes without saying this year has been a absolute tough one for so many people, whether you're trying to continue with work, balance family, balance church, community involvement, all while a pandemic is going on. It has been it's been rough. And so we wanted to do something to just make sure that everybody had a little chance to relax and to relate and to release and get the tools, because this year we're all about being proactive instead of reactive. We're not trying to react to stress. We're trying to manage our stress before it comes in. So that's what we're going to do here today. And we are just so excited to have all of you all join us virtually. At this time, we do want to let you know that you can use the chat to ask questions. We have two dynamic speakers today, two dynamic facilitators. And you're just going to walk away with a lot of knowledge and just feel good when we're done. So before we get started, make sure you have pen and paper. You're going to need it, because you're going to need to write down some of these tips. You're going to need to write down some of these tools that you can take with you. So grab your pen and paper. At this time, I'd like to bring our chair of the Physical and Mental Health Committee, Luana Brown, to the stage. We'll say stage, to just bring our welcome and bring our mission. Good morning, Luana.
Good morning. Good morning, Sorors. Deltas around the world are promoting healthy behaviors and spreading the message to our communities, especially to our Black communities. The Knoxville Alumnae chapter is setting the example, knowing it starts with us. Delta women in our chapter have committed to improving our physical and mental health so that we may better serve Knoxville. Today, we are bringing one of the things that we are focusing on, the mental health, to the Knoxville community. We hope this discussion on mental health and meditation will help you start with your wellness journey and give you the tools that you need to make it happen. We welcome you and we invite you to get and active and to focus on your mental health. Thank you for coming, and we hope that you enjoy your day.
And we thank you. You're right, Luana, when you talk about your mental health and getting active. Thank you, Sora Brown. We in KAC, we actually have committed our sorority to really focusing on our physical and mental health. We have started working out, and we're doing this and still trying to be COVID safe, but you still have to take care of yourself. So we have made a big push to focus on our mental and physical health. And we're doing this by following the Weight Watchers, well, WW, formerly Weight Watchers, pillars. Those pillars are food, activity, sleep, and mindset. Again, food, activity, sleep, and mindset. And this is all a part of our wellness journey. So because of Delta's national partnership with WW, for all of our guests, we actually have some fantastic swag from WW that we'll be giving away as door prizes. And you'll like these door prizes. That's all I'm going to say. So grab your pen and paper, take your notes so that, maybe if a question is asked, you'll have the answer and we can get those door prizes to you. Now, as we get started, we want you to know that the Sora that is coming up next, she is going to introduce our first panelist, and she is our co-chair of our Physical and Mental Health Committee, and she's going to explain who is presenting to you so that you know that you're getting somebody of substance to help you out for this 2021. Right now, Joya Smith-Bailey is here with a look at our first speaker.
Good morning, ladies. I have the honor of introducing our first facilitator for today. DeShelle Burrowes is a wife, mother of two beautiful boys, a psychotherapist, life coach, advocate for all things women, and a lover of God. She became a therapist after being a flight attendant for 16 years. During her time as a flight attendant, she began her journey of healing as a child sexual assault survivor and began sharing her story with others right from her jump seat. It was there where she realized she was not alone in this struggle. She completed her master's in clinical mental health counseling at Argosy University, Atlanta, in 2017. She specializes in women's issues and has built a successful counseling and coaching practice, supporting the well-being of women through a magnitude of lifestyle transitions, including but not limited to womanhood, motherhood, empty nesting, as well as trauma and sexual issues. DeShelle serves on the board of the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance for People of Color, and she is also the South Atlanta coordinator for Postpartum Support International, LLC, where she runs a successful monthly support group for expecting and new mothers. She recently became the rape crisis therapist for the Grady Rape Crisis Center located at Grady Hospital. She is also gaining additional training as a life coach to be able to support women through more than mental health issues, but through life, and to be able to coach women effectively from all over the world. DeShelle is a proud member of Delta, Sigma, Theta, Sorority Incorporated. Ladies, I present to some and introduce to others our amazing speaker for today, DeShelle Burrowes.
Thank you so much, Joya. That was awesome. I appreciate every word. Thank you so much. Good morning, beautiful women. I am so glad to be in the midst of you all. This is going to be an amazing event. But I want to start off and say first, I am a member of Weight Watchers and have been a member of Weight Watchers since August of this past year, 2019. And I can show you on my app. I have the app and everything. And my soror, Cheryl, who is of the Atlanta chapter, the Knoxville chapter, told me about the discount. I didn't even know that we were in partnership with Weight Watchers, with WW. So I went back and got my discount, y'all. So, and this thing works. I'm 25 pounds down. So, you know, if you are not using Weight Watchers and tracking those points and especially getting that membership discount, you better do so. It really, really does work. And that's a part of what we're talking about today is wellness. Even in the midst of the pandemic and maybe before the pandemic and possibly after the pandemic, we are going to be challenged, especially as women, and as Black women, because there is so much that is going on in our worlds. We have to take care of not only ourselves, but we have to take care of our families, our children, our husbands, sometimes our coworkers. We are that strong woman that is always has things on your back that you have to carry. You know, if you ever seen that picture with the woman with all the luggage or heard Erykah Badu's song, Bag Lady, that can be us at times because we have a tendency from our history of being able to support and carry everything. But when you're doing all of that and taking care of everyone else, who's taking care of you? What are you doing for you? Have you left something for you? Sometimes our cup gets empty because we've been so busy doling out support and care and love to everyone else around us, meeting deadlines, booking appointments, you know, having appointments for our families. I know I do. And so it can be so hard. And especially then I see clients on top of that. So not only am I getting my own stuff, but I'm getting the stuff of my clients as well. And so I have learned that it is so important to put you first. We cannot be everything to everybody if we're not making sure that we're filling our own cups. And with that being said, I know that sounds hard because they say put your husband first or put your children first. Make sure that everyone has everything they need. But if you're not taking and filling your cup and doing what you need to do for you, you're not going to be able to dole out all that love and attention to those people. Especially during the pandemic, you may find at times that you're a little short-tempered. You know, you might need that time where, you know what, I can't do no more of this. And you may have to go to your room, lay in your bed, do a little Netflixing or Showtime watching or something just to kind of disconnect. Because now our homes now are not even our sacred spaces. Many of us are working from home. And so what was once that sanctuary that we have built for ourselves has now become that office space. So how can you disconnect when your office is next door or that company's cell phone is still ringing off the hook and you can hear it because you can't leave it in the car because you're no longer traveling. And so we have just been inundated with stress, with things that are going to take our mental wellness off check. That means depression possibly.
That means anxiety, possibly. That means isolating at times, especially when we don't have the connections that we usually have. Now, even our sorority meeting has been taken online. So we can't even, hug our sorors like we're used to, and fellowship the way we really want to. We have to find other ways to, still show love. And that can be hard, especially if you are an extroverted person, or even a highly sensitive person that needs, that comfort of your sisterhood, that comfort of family and friends, especially when we still can't travel to them. So I want to talk to you today about some ways of kind of incorporating back those positive coping skills into your life, and ways of bringing back the positivity. Even if you can't do it with friends, you can do it with yourself, and kind of have ways. We have an awesome list here. Thank you, Tirsa, for that. This talks about your coping skills. And on this list, there are 60 coping skills that are amazing that you can use to pour into yourself. And that's what this is about. I actually have 99. I think Tirsa is going to flip the page over, but there are 99 on here that you can use, coping skills that will pour back into you. And so with this sheet, there could be things such as exercising. That's number one. That's the number one way of boosting your energy, of kind of boosting your mood. You get those endorphins in, and that makes you feel so much better about life. Yeah, you might struggle the first day or two and be like, I don't want to do it. I did it. I struggled. When I started Weight Watchers and was trying to get active, I had tons of days where I just didn't want to be active. I just didn't want to count my points. But when I did, I felt so much better. And it poured into me. And now that exercise has paid off, because now I've lost 25 pounds with just minimal effort. And when I tell you I had minimal effort, I had minimal effort. And I can tell you because I had a boot on my foot back in December. All exercise was taken away. I couldn't walk. So I had to figure out how to get that exercise in. I had an old bike. I call it my 1972 Special. It wasn't that old, y'all, but I swear it feels like that old, and it looks that old. It looks nothing like a Peloton. And I hated that bike. That bike had sat in our house. It has moved with us from place to place. We've never gotten a new one. But at some point, I had to look at that bike in the face and say, okay, you all I got? Well, let me get to it. And so I had to get on that bike a little bit at a time and do what I had to do in order to get those exercise goals met. So exercise is your number one goal meeting your exercise goal. Sorry, my son came down. That's the number one goal that we have, is getting that exercise in. But you can do crossword puzzles. Those are things. Find a movie. You can't go to movies. And here in Georgia, movies aren't open yet, but you can see a movie on Netflix. Now we have a wealth of movie options right in the comfort of our own home. You can do that. Take a shower. When's the last time you took that nice shower and you had those nice, girly things that maybe a scrub, maybe a bubble bath, maybe with some bath bombs? Taking the time, instead of just jumping in and out, trying to get somewhere running, taking that time to kind of slow down and just being kind to yourself. And that's what this is about. Sisters, this is about being just kind to yourself, getting your hair done. Sometimes having that mani-pedi can make the difference of you feeling better. And so those are things that definitely I want you. Cheryl says a long, warm bath does it for me so often. Absolutely. And even if it's not the bath, but maybe coming in and soaking in an Epsom salt bath, or even just soaking your feet in that Epsom salt bath and sitting maybe with a good book. When was the last time you took the time to read a good book instead of reading something for work? Or that manual of how to make something happen, or that cookbook recipe, but taking the time to read a good book, make a smoothie, have a milkshake. This list has tons of things that you can do in order to make you see and make you feel better. And that's what it's about. Portia says getting her nails done. Does it for her every time. For me too. I have my special person that does my feet. And the other ladies at the spa that work there, they are pissed when they see me, y'all, because I won't let anybody, I only want her. And I've been going to just her. And so they just like, but she makes me feel so wonderful. And Jasmine says she loves to shop. I'm a shopper too. I love to shop too, absolutely, especially for sorority wear. I definitely love that as well. And so finding those things that you love to do will do wonders for you. Make a list of your blessings, a gratitude list. Sometimes if you have that morning where you struggle to get out of bed, or at night when you're struggling to quiet your mind, having that list of gratitude, what are you grateful for? What happened in your day that really did it for you, that really changed the way you felt that day? That's an amazing way to start or end your day. Reading the Bible is an amazing way to get it in, to make sure that you are doing what you need, and praying for you is a good way. Praying for you, praying for the world, praying for people that you know that need prayer, or just praying just to cover whoever. Those are great ways. Create or build something. Some of us, we may have been cooks and we may have been artists at some place, but then found that we've now lost that in the middle of the pandemic. You know, some of the things we used to do, we're no longer doing anymore. So finding a way to get back to those things, you know, are different things. Oftentimes crying can be a coping skill. We carry so much energy in us as women because everyone is pouring into us that we have to have that outlet. So for you, crying, if crying is the way that you feel like that's letting that go, that's releasing, that makes you feel good, cry. I cry all the time. My husband is like, are you crying for real? Yep, I am. You gonna let me have it? Because that makes me feel good, because I love to get it out. Tirsa says a good cry is everything. It is. I can cry at movies. I can probably make a tear right now if I wanted to. It just makes us feel good. It makes me feel good to get that energy out. Another thing you want to talk about possibly is sleep. Sleep is so underrated. But when I tell you guys, sleep is so important to your well-being. Getting to bed at a decent time is so important. That could be like tears are released. Absolutely, Miss Gibson. Yes, absolutely. But that could be such a release for you, is doing going to sleep and getting to bed at a decent time. Sometimes it's hard for us because we are so busy in our lives to quiet our brains down. So just as you did for children, or you've seen done for children, make a sleep time activity where you hold yourself accountable for sleeping. Make that sleep routine. You know, you may come in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You may piddle around the house a little bit. You may return a few phone calls, but maybe around 7 or 8 o'clock, you know, start dimming the lights. Instead of using the bright light that's on above, kind of use those lights that you have sitting throughout your home. That resets your brain and says, okay, it's time for us to kind of quiet down a little bit. Just like some people, they may open their windows in the morning at 7 a.m. when the sun's up, and that signifies it's time to get up. It's a new day, you know, and be glad in that new day. You have to do the same thing at night. So cut that bright light off and hit those dimmers, you know, or dim those lights. You know, you may also want to have that nice hot bath where you take the time and say, I'm gonna have a hot bath tonight. I'm gonna just kind of calm down, put some oils in my bath, some aromatherapy in my bath, you know, or a bubble bath or whatever it is that you use. And I'm gonna do those things for myself. That also kind of quiets you down. You may want to use meditative music. Meditation is an amazing form of coping, as we will see right after I finish this part of the presentation. I can't wait to be a part of that. But that also is amazing. And so making ways to wind down, using that do not disturb on your phone. Yeah, you didn't know what it was for? That's what it's for. So you can quiet down and kind of cut out all the background noise and cut off those social media messages, you know, cut that Facebook off, you know, maybe charge your phone across the room and turned away from you So that way you do not see it lighten up when you get those notifications, because that has a tendency of waking us up too. So if you're using your phone as an alarm, it can still be your alarm. You can do not disturb, but still have your alarm. And trust me, I know, because I have do not disturb. I only have it set so my emergency contacts can call me. If there's an emergency, they will call. But other than that, everyone else, you can just leave me a message and I'll get it in the morning. So you can put that phone across the way. And then another thing you can do, we talked about that meditation. There are apps such as Insight Timer. I'll tell a lot of clients about Insight Timer. Not only can you do guided meditations there, you can also do just a meditation routine. And they also have white noise there. I always say there's been times in the middle of the night, I get that 3 a.m. wake up call from God saying, wake up, it's something I got to talk to you about. And then maybe after he gets done talking to me, I can't go back to sleep because then I'm wired and my mind is thinking and racing and thinking about all those different things that, are racing through my mind at that time when I'm waking up, and I want to focus. So I've used Insight Timer, put that on in my ears because I sleep with my husband and my husband snores like a freight train. So I will put those in my ears so that I won't wake him up, even though I want to, because he's snoring like a freight train. But I put those things in my ears and I let that sleep play, that sleep music play for me. And before I know it, I'm back to sleep. I'm resting. I'm in my deep REM sleep and I'm getting the good sleep I need. Because without sleep, you'll gain weight without sleep. You actually reach for more food, salty and sugary foods when you don't sleep. Have you ever been that midnight snacker when all of a sudden you're looking for something, a chip or something to get to, because you're not sleeping. And so you have to have sleep to reset your brain. If there's ever been times when you felt like all of a sudden your words are caught up, maybe you're tripping over your words or what have you, have you been without sleep? So you kind of start wondering when you're lacking sleep, kind of figure out, go back in your day, roll that tape back and figure out what happens, what's going on, what's going on with you. Has it been, I'm not sleeping? And also sleeping can lead to hallucinations. They can lead to where your mental wellness is completely off track and you can get to a state where you're having hallucinations, you're paranoid, your cognitive functions are not working well. You're not able to process things well. So sleep is so important for you as a way of life and as a way of coping. So if you need that midday nap, sometimes you may have to close the computer down, cut your stop your video on your camera and catch that nap in the middle of a few meetings. So that way you're able to stay refreshed in your day. Lastly, but not least, I want to talk about playlists. That is my all-time favorite coping skill. That won't be the last thing I talk about, but that's next to last. Having an amazing playlist can also help you sleep as well, but it can also help rejuvenate you throughout your day. If you're looking for a playlist for inspiration, you can have that. You can have that Donnie McClurkin playlist. You can have that Corinne Hawthorne playlist. You can have those things. If you need that Woman, I Am All of That and more, if you need that Mary J. Blige playlist, you can do that. You can have that. You can have that Whitney Houston playlist. You can do that. If you need something to help boost you to get in the mood of working out, you can have a workout playlist. That could include Shaka Khan. That could include rap, Megan Thee Stallion. I have a Megan Thee Stallion playlist. I will admit it, y'all. I'm sorry, but I like that. It gets me pumped. I'm able to burn more calories. I'm able to stay focused on my weight loss goals, and it's harder for me to jump off that machine because I'm so into it with that music. And you can have a playlist for that as well. But you can also have playlists for when your mood is down. When something, it just won't break for you and that mood is so down for you, you can have playlists for that. I have playlists where I have like Luther Vandross. I can remember going to school at once upon a time in my childhood, and I swear y'all, every morning on the way to school, I would hear Luther Vandross, I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love. And that brings me back to that fun time of childhood, going to school. And that was such an amazing thing. Yes, rain, that's on that app as well. They do have those white noise and rain noise and stuff on that app as well that I mentioned, Insight Timer. But if you have a playlist, you can have a playlist to boost your mood of different music that you want to hear. I'm Every Woman, you can make it that playlist for that. If you're getting ready to go out for dinner or go out to meet your girls or your sorors for a night out, you know, you might want to get cute and put on Beyonce. I got a playlist for that too. You know, their playlist music is everything. And it really soothes your soul in so many ways if you allow it to. And so by finding, you know, creating your own playlist, or even Pandora, if you just go to Pandora, if that's the best way and what you have to do, there's nothing wrong with that. I listen to Pandora. I have 100 stations on there as well. And you can hit on there the ones you like and the ones you don't like. So then that way you get those in rotation. That's a great way of boosting your mood and really pouring into your spirit. Because if you don't have those, you know, I always like to say you cannot be driving around Knoxville, and all of a sudden, if you're disturbed, something's happened, if you've been triggered, then you say, I'm gonna get out and walk. Well, you may be stuck in traffic on Interstate 40. You can't get out and walk then. So then you have to have another coping skill. That could be, let me load up a playlist. Let me phone a friend. Let me call soror so-and-so and say, hey, you know, and I may not tell her what's going on with me, but just by hearing her voice and knowing she's fun and she's crazy and she's, you know, she's somebody that's going to boost my mood by whatever shenanigans that we talk about in that time, do that. You know, phone that friend. You know, it may be, hugging a pillow. You know, there are different things. Baking. So many people love to bake things. I'm not a baker unless it's like already those prepackaged cookies, but you know what? Still baking those for my boys does bring me joy. So there are amazing things on this list that can bring you joy. Find those things. And one thing that we've kind of gotten away from is coloring. When I worked with adults at a mental health facility, we got back to coloring and just doing those mandalas. That was an amazing thing. Just kind of the simple art of just kind of coloring and that clearing out what's in your head. Journaling also, those are things that work. There are so many things on this list. So from this list, I want you guys to take 15 things. If you have this list, take a picture of it. Miss Tirsa Soror Tirsa will go back and forth and you can take pictures of that. Coloring on your iPad. Yes, there are even coloring apps, guys, that are free that you can use. So you can sit there on your phone and color while you're in the meeting. And then nobody ever know what's sitting in front of you on that Zoom meeting while you're calming yourself down to keep from going off on somebody, right? So that's a great thing to do. So yeah, so this list is all encompassing, but it's not everything. There are certain things in your life that you've done when things kind of didn't feel right that I want you to know that you can add to this list. But I want you to pull 15 things off this list already that at some point in your life you've done. 15. And out of that 15, guess what? You're going to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was coping doing this. You absolutely were, you know? And so you take those 15 things and you run with those 15. However, we ain't done yet. I want you to pick 10 more things off of this list that you can do. When you do those 10 more things, those are things that you try to do, that you say, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try when I'm feeling down. I'm gonna try to learn a new language. I'm gonna go do a puzzle. I'm gonna call Cheryl and go for a walk, you know, or whatever. I'm gonna smile at 5 people. You know, I'm gonna pay it forward and maybe pay for somebody's drink or pay for someone's dinner, you know, whatever that is for you. So find 10 more things on this list or make your own list of 10 more things that you want to do that you haven't done. You may have a bucket list already going that you want to try. So add those 10 more things. So now guess what? You got 25 coping skills. Of the 10 that you're going to try and the 15 that you already have tried in your back pocket. So with that, every time that you feel triggered, and triggered is when your heart's palpitating, maybe when your palms are sweaty, when maybe the hair standing on the back of your neck, when your feet are sweaty, or when you're sweaty, when your tummy kind of gets uneasy, you know, that's what triggers look like. You know, when you're not able to remain focused, you're having racing thoughts. When you're triggered, you would then have 25 ways of, let me pull something out my hat to deal with this trigger. If you're feeling depressed, you know, let me call a friend. If you're feeling anxious, let me pray about it. You know, if you're feeling mad, angry, you know, let me go for a walk. You have ways of pulling different coping skills. I say for every emotion you have, you should have at least 5 ways of coping. Now, those 5 ways you can have only 5, but those 5 ways need to be walking, possibly, journaling, possibly, phoning a friend, calling your therapist, which I haven't talked about yet, and it could be sleeping. So you have those 5 things, but you may not use them the same way every time because we don't want to burn them out, right? We want to make sure we add in other things. So when you're mad, that may be the order that you use them in. But however, when you're anxious, you may have to switch that order up and use something else or incorporate something off this list to do instead, you know, so that way you're able to have ways of coping. So for every emotion you have, angry, sadness, depression, anxiety, isolation, whatever those are, shame, guilt, you know, have ways of coping for those things. And so that way you're able to pour into your cup as soon as you feel an inch of being triggered, right? So lastly, if it feels like it gets so overwhelming for you, then I want for you to feel like, you know what, maybe I need to reach out to somebody. And if you feel like that it's something more than what you can handle and what your friends can handle, you know, your friends can support you, absolutely. But sometimes they got their own stuff going on as well, that you may feel like you need an unbiased party to pour into you. And so with that, you can phone a therapist. You can go to Therapy for Black Girls to find a therapist. You can go to Clinicians of Color to find a therapist. You can even go to Psychology Today to find a therapist that you look for. And also coaches. We're on there as well, therapists and coaches. I'm on all 3 of those sites. And so what you can do is you can find someone that takes your insurance, if that's what you need to use, or that's private pay. And they are unbiased. They can come in, they know nothing about anybody you're talking about. And you can go in and share honestly with that person, build that rapport, and get what you need, get the healing that you need. Don't sit here, sorors or sisters, in a place where you don't feel like you can get supported. Support is there for you. You do not have to be in this struggle alone at any time. And so if you feel like you need to talk to someone else, do so. Reach out to me. Sorors, if you reach out to me, I'll put you in connection with, of course, Tears, I'll repeat those. If you reach out to me, I'll definitely put you in line with people who you can talk to. I'll reach out to them for you and find them for you. That's just something that I do. I'm just a resource that way. So since I think we could use a little couch time with a therapist at some point in our life, absolutely, Cheryl, yes. And so it's important, guys, to get what you need. Fill your cup. I have so many women that come into our office, to my office, that are struggling, especially during the pandemic. And you can now see a therapist. You don't even have to go in person because most of our insurances are allowing virtual visits. So you can see it at the privacy of your home, in your car, at your office, wherever you are, and go ahead and get that visit in. Those sites were Therapy for Black Girls. There's also a Therapy for Black Men. So men, if you know men that are struggling, Therapy for Black Men also is a site too. Clinicians of Color is a site as well as Therapy for Black Girls. Psychology Today. You can filter on there for whatever to meet your needs. You can filter for your insurance, and you can read their profiles and see who resonates with you. Let me tell you now, the first person may not be the person for you, but it's okay to keep looking. It's okay to ask them, can I have a free consultation? They can honor that. If they can't honor that, you may not want to sign up with them. Go straight into an appointment. You may not want to pay that copay. but see if you can get a free consultation with them, just 15, 30 minutes to kind of see if you're vibing with them, you know, and it may not be a counselor. You may just need that life coach to make sure you're putting yourself, making yourself a priority. That's why I became an empowerment coach, because a lot of women that I came into lost that. They lost the skill of making sure that they're making time for themselves. They may not have a mental health diagnosis, and that is completely fine, but they may realize that they are stretched so thin that they have a hard time bouncing back and feeling like themselves again. And that's why I was like, I need to be a coach for that reason, because I was doing that as well in my practice. So my information, I don't know if you need that. I can definitely put that in the chat if you'd like me to do that, Tirsa, as well. So if someone wants to kind of consult with me to see how that, you know, what their next moves are, I'm open to that, to supporting you, because it's all about women getting what we need. We are being stretched so thin, especially in this pandemic, that I want to make sure that you are doing everything in your power to make sure you are pouring into yourself, because you want to be the best you can for you. And I know you want to be the best you can for your families as well. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with a body scan. Right now, I hope you're in a great space. I hope you're, you know, kind of thinking about things as well. I want for you to take a moment to get comfortable right where you're sitting. Start, if you want to close your eyes, you can. Not everyone is comfortable with that, even though you're where you are. But do a body scan. Start with the top of your head and go all the way down through your body and see what that feels like for you. Are you feeling any sensations? You know, how are you feeling? Also register what that mood is like for you right now. You know, are you happy? So this is what my happy state looks like. And so if there's nothing going on, if you're not feeling any ways, or even if you are, that's still good. Notice those feelings right now. Notice how you're feeling. Then when you're anxious, when you're depressed, when you're angry, when you have some shame, when whatever those emotions are, I want you to stop and do that body scan all over again and see what's going on with your body. That's the first indication that I need to go find one of these coping skills. That's the first indication of I need to phone a friend. And so when you do that body scan now, you notice that everything is at an equilibrium. You're in this homeostasis space. But when you're triggered, you won't feel this way. Something will be different. I want you to notice that and then go and find your coping skills list and figure out some things that you're going to do from the 25 that we've already picked out, that you're going to try and see if your mood is better. I bet it will be. And that's my challenge to you all. Thank you so much for having me today. I hope you found value in this lesson. I hope you find 25 coping skills and you're able to put those in motion. And if all else fails, phone me to say, DeShelle, hey, I need some support. If nothing else, say, hey, I need you to refer me to a therapist in my area. And I'll be happy to do that for you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Tirsa. I appreciate it.
Virtual, but let's give DeShelle a hand.
Now, find ways to pour into yourself. That's what's most important. We're wives, we're moms, we're sisters, we're sorors. Pour into yourself. That's what's important.
Thank you so much, DeShelle. You are absolutely fantastic. You're exactly what I knew you were going to be. So thank you so much. You are. What we're going to do, because I saw a lot of comments saying, you know, how do I get her information, or, you know, what did she say? We are going to send everybody who is registered, sorors and sister friends, we're going to send you an email and it will have her information, some of the sites she talked about. So if you missed something, you will still get those links. And also for our second presenter, it's all going to be in the same email. So don't fret. If you missed anything, we will definitely have you covered. All right. So ladies, let me put my computer back here on gallery view. How are we feeling? What do we think? Was that good for you all? Did you walk away with a little something to be ready for your Monday morning at work? I promise you. I actually got a chance to hear DeShelle speak to our Delta Academy. These are our little girls who are in middle school, and she fine-tuned this for them. And I walked away like, wait a minute, I'm a whole grown woman and I needed some of this. So I was like, we've got to figure out how to get this to the women in our community. So thank you again. At this time, we're going to go into our second part, and I'm so excited about this. We are going to figure out how to take what DeShelle said and take it to the next level. You hear people talk about meditation. I know for a lot of us growing up, we know how to pray. We know how to sit and be still, but we really don't know what is meditation. Like, am I sitting here, am I doing a little thing with my hands like this in a crisscross applesauce setting? What am I doing? So we're going to learn what is meditation, how we can adapt that for us. Everybody does it a little differently. And so we're going to get some different ways to do that. And so our next speaker, who is very special to me, she's a longtime friend, more than 20 years, and a longtime sorority sister. Her name is Kandace Jones, and she is the author of From Stress to Peace, an intimate journal on the journey from living in darkness to living in the light. She's a spiritual coach and just an all-around beautiful person. Kandace has taken her journey, and she's one of those people where you meet her and you just go, well, she's just got her whole life together. I mean, look at her. She's got a beautiful family, and she's got this job in corporate America, and she's just really got it going on. But she took a journey of being diagnosed with depression and turned it into a whole next chapter in her life to help thousands. So at this time, we're going to bring Kandace Jones with Living in the Light to talk about meditation and one of my favorite things, these sound bowls. If you have never seen the sound bowl thing, get ready. This is what Kandace does. So welcome, Kandace Jones, who is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you, Kandace, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just going to share my screen real quick here, get it in presentation mode. I'm so happy to be here and to be talking about my favorite topic, meditation. Just a quick note, if this went into full screen mode for you and the photos on the right of the images of everyone are blocking the slides, you can click escape and it'll put the pictures of everyone at the top so that you can still see everything. Okay, so Tirsa talked a little bit about my journey, and I just wanted to highlight a few things because I wasn't always someone who meditated. I was not always, in this peaceful state, even though people saw that in me. So it was like it was a divinely ordered for me to go through this path so that I could walk in this peace and share that with others. So I'm really passionate about helping others move from stress to peace, but how I got there was a very challenging journey. Excuse me. So in 2007, which you see on this timeline, I went through a really challenging time in my marriage, and we weren't sure if we were going to make it at that point. And we had only been married 2 years, and it was a really life-shifting moment for me because I felt like I was failing. I felt like all of my insecurities and everything were coming up for me. And it was a pivotal moment where I really turned to what are all the practices that can help me find balance, because I wasn't balanced in that moment. I was very stressed and I was taking that stress out on my partner. I wasn't feeling good about me. I wasn't feeling centered in my true nature. So that is what really drove me on this path of learning about meditation, about yoga. I mean, I tried it all because I was like, I need support. And during that time, shortly after that time, growing my family, having children, I went through a period of postpartum depression and really stressful times at work and all of that. And over those years, really made the commitment to myself. So all of that we just learned in the last part of the presentation about those things that you can pour into yourself, those practices that you can use. I was starting to do those for myself in a consistent way, and then began sharing that journey with others through my journaling online. So I did it in a very public way through a blog, just starting to document, how I was incorporating those daily practices into my life, what I was learning along the path. And that has grown into the life coaching practice. And I also facilitate retreats for women to help you get out of your environment and learn some real practices that you can take home and incorporate into your daily life. So we're going to skip to that in a little bit. What can I do right now, or when I'm in the middle of my workday and I'm stressed, how do I bring myself back into a peaceful state? That's what we're going to talk about. So from stress to peace, that is what we are about to jump into. But just wanted to share a little bit about that journey. So why do I have this slide about water? What does that have to do with stress and moving to peace? Well, our bodies are made up of, some people say 60%. This slide shows 60%, 65%. Some people say all the way up to 80%. But regardless, our bodies have a lot of water in them, and water holds frequency. So what does that mean? There was this water experiment that was done by Dr. Emoto, and I highly encourage you to look up this water experiment. There are great videos and lots of information online, but I'm going to give you like the 2-second version of what this is. So he looked at water crystals, so looked at them under a microscope and put different messages into each piece of water, each particle. And so one had a prayer that was being poured into it. One had an offering. One was saying thank you. One was saying negative, statements like, you make me sick, I will kill you. And you see the differences in what was happening to the water as these offerings were being poured in. So whether you're speaking life, people talk about speaking life and the power of the tongue and the power of your word. It is at a cellular level impacting how you're feeling, how you are navigating the world, your mood, right? So this spiral, I love using this spiral in my work because we've all navigated likely many points along this spiral. And as we are feeling joy, which is at the number one here, joy, empowerment, freedom, love, we know the kind of thoughts that we are likely pouring into ourselves, right? We're saying more of the thank you. We're saying, we're likely pouring more prayers into ourselves. There's love. We're speaking love, speaking life. And so our system is responding to that and we're feeling better. And, conversely, if we're in these other states of worry, discourage, revenge, all of these things, blame, then the things that we're thinking and speaking are at a cellular level, shifting our mood. So all of those things, we're experiencing stress and life coming at us, and it's also impacting how we're feeling. So why meditation? All of that to say, why do we want to meditate? Because, and you may not be able to see these well, so I will make sure to speak some of these aloud, but these are some of the benefits of meditation, and it really impacts our mind, body, and spirit. So it has been studied scientifically. There's been looked at the shifts in the brain as people meditate, and it can decrease everything from stress and anxiety. It can help sleep. We talked about sleep in the last session and how important that is. We're able to sleep better when we meditate. It's been shown to lower blood pressure. So if that's been a challenge for you, reducing your heart rate, helping you feel more, less lonely, more connected to others. So all of this is important as we think about meditation. Now, there are many types of meditation, and we're going to get into practicing a couple of these, but I just wanted to show this because people think about, like Tirsa mentioned when she was introducing me, you're sitting, yes, cross-legged, like, oh, or I have to say, or I have to do, whatever you've seen in terms of the images of meditation, and it can turn some people off. So they say, well, I can't meditate, or I can't sit here and just be quiet. Like, that's not going to work for me because my mind is racing. And so I love, I really researched meditation, and I've taken too many courses in meditation and just learning all that I can about it because I think it's so important. Once I found certain types that I resonated with, and I was like, oh, I can do this. Walking meditation, I share that a lot on my retreats. And it's a practice of really being mindful of every step, so there's internal and external walking meditation. And it's really fun, you know. So internal meditation, you're really focusing on your bodily sensations. So we were talking in the last session about the body scan at the end, and, you know, really being mindful of how is every step feeling in your body? Are your legs feeling? How are your arms swaying? You know, how relaxed do you feel? Really scanning and noticing as you're walking. And then in external walking meditation, you're looking at everything in your environment, you know, the leaves to the different colors of the rocks, the colors of the flowers, you know, all of those things, and really taking that in instead of being in your head thinking about, well, why did she say that? Or I should have done this. And, you know, I got this on my to-do list. Really just being present in that moment. There's guided meditation. So there's all kinds of apps, and I see there's some comments coming in now. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Yes, focus as you're walking. Yes, yes, yes. Guided meditations, there's a number of apps for that, and I will recommend some as well. So Tirsha can share that in the follow-up message. Contemplative meditation, I love too, and it's one that a lot of people don't think about. So if you're reading something inspirational, so whether that's the Bible, or you're reading a book by an author that has some inspirational words, or you're reading some poetry, you know, really taking in, you know, the depth that individual was going through as they were writing those words. And I love this quote it's from A Course in Miracles, which is a book that I found very inspiring and helpful on my journey. And it says, words are but symbols of symbols, twice removed from reality. And so the words that you see from, you know, spiritual teachers or leaders that you find so inspiring, it was capturing a moment, the essence of what happened to them when they had that revelation, right? So you want to tap into not only the words, but that revelation, that feeling that drove them to write those words. So really taking the time to breathe as you're reading, and we're going to do a breathing meditation, a mindful breathing meditation next. Breathing with that text. So reading a line and then pausing to breathe for a moment and feel into that, and maybe even repeat it in your mind, and then continue reading the next line and continue that practice. And that has been powerful for me and opened up so much as I was able to tap into more of what was there. So all of this to say, I'm not going to go through each of these. I know y'all are like, ooh, that's going to take a long time to walk through all these types of meditation. But sound healing, Tirsa talked about, and I will play some of my bowls so you can hear that. It doesn't sound as good through Zoom. So what I'm going to do is play an audio for you that is a recording of me playing my bowls so that you can hear that. But as we talk about water and frequency, as I showed on an earlier slide, you know, how much of our body is made up of water, and how the words that we speak and the thoughts and also sound that we listen to impacts that vibration that's moving through our body and really shaping how we feel, how our inner state of being is. Sound can really help and be powerful to keep us in that state of balance and peace. So we will experience that in a moment. So mindful breathing. I'm just checking the chat here.
You have one question. Someone wants you to repeat the name of the book you quoted.
A Course in Miracles. I'm just typing it in. Great, thanks. So we're going to do a mindful breathing meditation. While we're doing this, I'm also going to play some of my bowls. We're going to do a 5-minute practice. And I have the steps listed here for anyone who, if you had to step away for a moment or you missed, you know, what did she say or how are we supposed to do this? The steps are here. You can also feel free to screenshot this so you have it for use later. Or if you want to send this out, I can send you these slides, Tirsa. Went to the wrong. Okay. So first thing is you can sit or lie down in a position that is comfortable for you. So there's no right way to meditate. There, you don't have to be sitting down cross-legged, you know, having pain in your legs for being there and over a period of time. Because even my legs hurt and sitting cross-legged for a long time. So that's not actually my preferred way to meditate. If you are sitting in a chair right now, I would say uncross your legs and just allow your feet to be flat on the ground. You're also welcome to lie down. That's okay as well. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, that is fine. If not, no worries. Just look at a point in front of you that you can look at and lower your gaze a little bit and just look at that point during the meditation. And then we always want to start with an intention. So we come to meditation for a particular reason, and we're looking for a particular outcome, and we can guide that even further by stating our intention. So internally, you know, reminding yourself of why you're doing this. So in this moment, it might be, you know, my desire, my intention is to learn to breathe more mindfully. Your intention may be to experience inner peace, whatever it is, to radiate joy to my family, to be the light that I am. So you're stating your intention internally, and then you're calling in support to amplify that intention. So that support may look different depending on what your beliefs are. For me, I call on my angels, I call on my ancestors, I call on my guides, I call on God to be with me in this moment and really support me as I am holding this intention to be more peaceful. And then you begin your practice. So we're going to start by just taking, inhaling through our nostrils. And as you're inhaling, allow your belly to expand like a balloon. Hold it for a moment and release. Inhaling again through your nostrils, allowing the belly to expand like a balloon. And release through your nostrils as well, allowing your belly to contract and move toward your spine. We're going to do that a few more times at our own pace, and then we are going to add a count. So just continue. Deep breath in through the belly, through the nose, allowing the belly to expand like a balloon. Holding it at the top for a moment and releasing. I'm going to add some sound in here. Are you all hearing the sound?
No, we are not.
Breathing in through your nostrils. Holding it at the top for a moment and releasing. And another thing that we can add in here is a count. So to keep it simple, we will begin with a 3-3-3 breath. So breathing in to the count of 3, holding for 3, and releasing for 3. I'm sorry, Tirsa?
Lower the sound. It was very loud.
Oh, okay. Is that better? Great. Okay, so if you couldn't hear what I said, we're just going to add a count to it. So a 3-3-3 breath, breathing in to the count of 3, holding for 3, and then releasing for 3. This allows us to be out of our thoughts. So a lot of what comes up when individuals are beginning a meditation practice is that my thoughts are all over the place, and how do I just still myself? And one of the ways that really helps is having a mantra, having something that you're repeating, or using a count. So counting your breath. So a nice place to begin is a 3-3-3 breath, breathing in to the count of 3, holding for 3, and releasing for 3. And we're going to do that for about a minute here. So if you're still in your count, just come out for a moment. You can slowly begin to slow down your breath and just take the count out, coming back to that deep breath in to the belly and release, and open your eyes when you feel complete with that practice. So this is something that I do in the middle of my day, like when I have meetings back to back, which is generally the case during the week. And I'll do this in between. I'll take 5 minutes. I'll I'll do it, when I have to make a bathroom run. I mean, let's be real, while you're sitting there, you might as well do some breathing while I'm cooking or preparing, tea or something like that. It's something that you can infuse into any part of your day while you're driving. If you are still having a commute, if you're an essential worker, or you are having to go into an office at this time, it's a beautiful thing to practice with your eyes open, of course, if you're driving, but just being in the breath. And the reason that we say breathe into your belly is that supports your central nervous system in relaxing. So a lot of times when we are stressed, we're in that fight or flight mode, and we're breathing from our chest a lot. So there's a, if you're nervous about something, or I got this coming up, or I got my to-do list, those are very short breaths that are coming from your chest, and it's not fully oxygenating the cells of your body. So when we breathe into our belly, we're circulating the oxygen through more of our body. And it's really important that we do that for our health, for our well-being, for our mood, for all of that. So highly recommend using this practice. And when you complete your practice, so you could set a timer for yourself, you can use the timer on your phone, do five minutes, even just 5 minutes makes an incredible difference, with or without the sound also coupled with that. If you are interested in sound audios, just to relax to, I do have a link at the end of this that will show you where you can get more of those, or on my Instagram page, I have all my links there at I Am Living in the Light, and you can receive those audios. And then we always want to give thanks after. So when we're finished, when we're complete with our practice, we set our intention, we called in our angels, we called in Holy Spirit, whoever you're calling on. And we want to make sure that we give thanks for that support that surrounds us in all moments, and give thanks for the time to practice. And we're also giving thanks in advance for all that is to come. We talked about gratitude earlier, and that is so powerful, such a powerful practice. So the last meditation practice that I want to share with you, there are so many, but I think this is a fun one, and something that if you don't have your sound audios and you don't have any of that, but you really want to feel a shift emotionally. So when you're carrying something, or something is really stressful, or you have a presentation coming up and you're feeling that anxiety in your body, then this is a perfect way to calm yourself and really feel a shift in your system. So humming meditation, and you may not have heard of this practice either. So we think of humming, you think about, I don't know, what comes to mind is my grandmother humming like hymns, and, just calling on the Lord in the mornings, and she would be all in her hum. And I'm like, she knew something. There was something happening while she was doing that hum, that old gospel hum. And my grandmother played keys in the church, so, she was really humming. So learning that this was really a meditation practice, you can look up humming meditation. It really is a thing. It's just powerful for shifting your mood. So when we hum, there is no particular tone that you need to use. So a lot of people think of like Om, for example. You hear people doing that in a yoga practice or something like that. On the breath out, they may be chanting Om or chanting Om. And in this practice, there's no particular mantra, there's no particular way that you need to hum, there's no particular tone. It's just whatever needs to come out and in that moment. So I'm going to demonstrate, but also know that yours doesn't have to match mine. And I'm also going to go on mute so that it's not distracting while you're doing your own hum. So again, we started off very similar to how we started the other practice. And I'm just checking the chat because I see some. Okay. Yes, proper breathing is cleansing. Absolutely. Great, glad to hear it's helpful, Tiffany. So
you have one question that may kind of play into what you're about to do.
Yep.
Lester Brown wrote, any suggestions on how to turn the mind off to really engage?
Yeah, so counting is very helpful for that. Also using a mantra. So if you're finding that your thoughts are really all over the place, having an affirmation that you're repeating in your mind. So I am well is an example. And you can, excuse me. And you can repeat that, that mantra over and over as you're doing your practice. So it wouldn't necessarily apply in the humming meditation, because the humming is also, you won't be thinking as the humming is happening. The other thing though that I want to note is that thoughts are okay. One of the things about mindfulness meditation is really being aware of what is. So it's not about ridding yourself of everything, or when I come out of the meditation, I'm supposed to be perfectly at peace and all these thoughts are gone and I no longer have any worries. That's what it does do, is help you be present to what is really arising for me. So if I've been running and I've been taking care of my family and I've been doing all the things for work and doing all the things for the sorors or whatever, and then haven't had time to really sit and just be with, how am I really feeling? How am I doing? So there are times where meditation for me can be very, almost emotional, because it's a release. It's an emotional release because I'm allowing myself to really feel what is arising for me. What's here? Oh, I'm not feeling well. I'm stressed. I have pain in my body. Like those as those thoughts are arising about what is, then I'm able to journal after or journal before. One of the things that really helps me with not having as many thoughts is taking the time to journal before my practice too. So like, what's on my mind? There's this practice from a book called The Artist Way. And in it, she has a practice called morning pages. And it's just 3 pages every morning. You just write at least 3 pages of just whatever comes to your mind. There's no rhyme or reason. You don't have to say what you're grateful for or whatever. Just like, here's all the stuff, that's on my mind. And it really, really helps to get it out and to have that release. So, but the thoughts are okay. They're not bad. Meditation is really to bring you into a state of presence with what is. And then as you do it over time, you'll find that you have less thoughts. And that's something to journal about too. Like I would journal about my practice. Okay, today I had a lot of thoughts arise about, the kids. I really need to get summer plans in order or whatever, and that's just on my mind and I'm a little stressed about it and then get that out. And then the next day, it's like I noticed, okay, I had a little less thoughts about that and I was able to just be still for longer. I was less restless. So definitely take note of those changes that you see over time and stick with it. One of the things the only way that it won't work is if you stop doing it. So definitely encourage you to continue the practice over time and notice those changes. And they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So really allowing yourself to at least try it for 21 days. Great. So let's try a little humming. So humming is like our own sound healing. So, we might not have our bowls and all those things, or we don't have access to an audio. We're just in the middle of work or whatever. And we want to help to bring our bodies into a state of relaxation, release some of the anxiety and stress. So we're going to start it in the same way that we started the other practice. So let's go ahead and do that now. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, please do so. If not, no worries. Like I mentioned, lowering your gaze and finding a point that you can really focus that gaze for the practice. I'm going to set an intention within. And then really calling in our support to amplify that intention. And we're going to inhale through the nostrils. Hold it for a moment and release. We're going to do a couple more of those, and then we're going to go into our humming. So inhale through the nostrils, allowing that belly to expand like a balloon. And releasing, allowing the belly to contract, move toward the spine. And the next one, just continue at your own pace as I describe how we're going to move into the humming practice. So when we begin our humming practice, we're going to take that deep breath in through the belly, through the nostrils, allowing the belly to expand. And on the out breath, you're going to allow the hum to come out. So it's not like a song, it's more like a steady release of that hum. So inhale, I'll do an example. You want to keep your mouth closed. I had mine open at first just to kind of, because I'm demonstrating, but I do want to close it just so you can see. That's where you really feel it within. It's an internal vibration that's going through your cells and really resetting and shifting and holding that intention that you set. So on the inhale, allowing the belly to expand like a balloon, making sure you're on mute and you can join me this time. And then I'm going to go on mute and we're going to continue the practice. So. So at your own pace, I'm going to go on mute and we're going to do this for just a few minutes. Keeping your mouth closed as you allow the hum to release. And you can change the tones if you prefer as well. And there is no right way to do this. So if you find your mind wandering, feeling silly, feeling like you're not doing it right, just allow that to release. Come back to your breath, breathing in deeply to your belly, holding it for a moment and releasing. And when you're ready, come back to this space and open your eyes when you feel ready. And let me know. So anyone want to share just what you noticed with the humming? Because it's definitely one that I find to be very palpable. Somebody said I hum in alto and tenor. I sometimes move up to soprano, and I'm not a soprano, but sometimes them high notes come out.
I can't figure out the humming and the breathing, exhaling at the same time. So I had like a weird rhythm thing going. I was like, ha, ha.
So got it. So that's a good, I'm glad you said that. The out breath is the hum. So as you're humming, you're also kind of releasing your breath at the same time. I almost fell asleep. Felt good. Yes. Helped you not to think other thoughts. Yes. Felt calmer, more relaxed. Good. So I love this practice. It's a quick reset, which I love. There's no way to do it wrong. Even if you're breathing out and humming at the same time, it's still working. It is definitely still working. Vibrato is good and relaxing feeling. Yes, yes. Well, thank you all. I really enjoyed this practice with you. Obviously, there's so much more that I could share. I love talking about meditation and wellness and all of those things. This is where you can find me. I am Living in the Light on Instagram, and then livinginthelightretreats.com. I do have a retreat coming up, but the deadline for this one is coming up pretty soon. We're going to Peru in August, but I will always have more coming. So definitely get on the list if you're interested in that, having a more extended, relaxing experience away. And then I send out monthly Living in the Light meditations. That's everything from guided meditations to sound healing audios, and with more descriptions about the benefits and how to practice. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the Knoxville Alumnae chapter, to Tirsa for inviting me. I really enjoyed this.
We are so glad that you decided to join us. This was absolutely fantastic. We'll give your Zoom applause to Kandace Jones. I hope you all enjoyed both components from our presenters today. Good practical things that you can take away and adapt for yourself. So now let's have a little fun. I hope y'all were paying attention, because I told you to go ahead and get out your pen and paper, because it's time to do some door prizes. We have some fantastic giveaways courtesy of WW Weight Watchers. And as our physical and mental health committee team members come to help do the door prizes, we do want to let you know that Delta nationally has a partnership with WW. And if you are interested, and this is for sorors and sister friends. So if you're not a member of Delta Sigma Theta and you're listening to me and going, well, I'm not a Delta, that's okay. Just go check out the website, go to deltasigmatheta.org. And there is a write-up on our partnership, the 25% discount. And the sign up actually benefits the programs that Delta does nationally. So you're helping improve yourself and you're helping improve your community by signing up. So now I'll bring Soror Tanya Mastella and Luana Lester, who has our door prizes, to go ahead and give those out. Tanya?
All right, we're ready to win some swag. So we are going to start with the very first person who registered for the event. And I know she's here because I've seen all her comments in the chat. Erica Hopkins.
Congratulations. Erica wins the first door prize.
Soror Lester has the door prizes, and she will contact you. Oh.
And there are several, Soror, so you will be getting one of these fabulous prizes to remind you of such great workshop that we had today, and also to help you with your water benefits that was spoken of today. No excuses for single uses. We're going to help you with that. And I'll just go ahead and tell them some things, Soror, so they know, they'll know you can probably be getting a nice t-shirt, Oprah Winfrey on front, which Also, one of my favorites on the back of this t-shirt, guys, it is, I can, whoops,
There we go.
and I will. Is that it, ladies? I can and I will. Yes, awesome. We also have some beautiful pins here that you will enjoy to wear on your journey with your health and fitness goals. And the cups, drinking cups, they come in different colors.
Awesome
Thank
assortment
you.
of prizes.
Yes, awesome.
Okay. So Erica, we will be reaching out to you to get those prizes to you, your prize to you. So the next question, what we're going to do is ask you to type in the chat your answer, and we will go with the first one that answers this one correctly. Sarah Tirsa mentioned this at the very beginning. What are the WW pillars?
We'll give you a hint. There are 4. What are the pillars? And this can be a soror or a sister friend to win this. Okay, we have Afeni Henderson. She wrote food, activity, sleep, and mindset. Very good. Somebody was taking notes.
Go.
We'll be contacting you. Afeni, we know where to find you.
Okay, thank you.
You are more than welcome. Congratulations. So the next question is, what are 5 steps to successful meditation? 5 of the steps. Type it in the chat. First one, type it in the chat.
Look at you all looking at your notes. And you can summarize. What are the 5 things you took away from what Kandace was telling us?
I love open book quizzes. We just did them.
They don't have to be complete sentences. Okay. Annie Hollings, she writes, relax, breathe, center, count, repeat.
Yes.
That works for me.
That works. Congratulations, Sarah Annie. And then, last but not least, this again comes from our first presenter. And I'm going to ask you 3, just 3, and we had so many wonderful ones. So this one, you have your pick, but I'm going to add a twist to it. What are 3 coping skills for stress? And due to one of our initiatives right now, what's the #1 skill for coping with stress?
Okay.
Ooh, those came
fast.
so fast. Hold on. Oh my goodness.
I wasn't ready.
I see #1.
Who went first? Let's see.
Food, relax, breathe, sleep. Walking, meditation, journaling, exercise.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, everybody's a winner, but we have to go with the first one. And the #1 exercise. I mean, the #1 was exercise.
So who are you going to pick for your winner? Who's the #1?
Actually, Cheryl, because she has walking on there. So that would have included exercise. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome, Sora.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and thank you, Luana. So that concludes our door prizes, and we just thank everybody for coming. How do you all feel? Do you feel like you've walked away with something? Are we going to take a nap after this? We're going to do some meditation, and we're going to take a nap after this.
Yes.
At this time, and I do want to remind you before we wrap up that I know a lot of you all are struggling to write down everything. We will send an email with a great recap of everything we learned with the links to our facilitators and some of the things that they talked about so that you can continue this wellness journey. And we really we want you to join us on this wellness journey. Like DeShelle was saying, you've got to take care of yourself before you take care of others. You got to feel good. You got to look good. Your mind has to be clear so that you can be your absolute best. So we really encourage you to get to walking, get to moving, take a little time. Tell your kids, go play digital so mommy needs to sit for 10 minutes and just be. It's okay. You get 10 more minutes of digital time. So just whatever you need to get your mind right, we really hope it starts today. For all of you all who are joining us. At this time, we do want to bring on our dynamic president of the Knoxville Alumnae chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Sorority Mims. Let's give her a hand, and she's going to close out our program.
Thank you. I just can't tell you enough how much I actually needed this today. And I got an extra special blessing. I'm in Nashville. It's overcast, it's sprinkling. So the windows are up where I'm at. I'm listening to the rain and the birds. And then to have this workshop at the same time, just perfect timing. I can't thank our presenters enough. Crimson Conversation is always one of my favorite programs that Delta Sigma Theta does through KAC. And it's always something phenomenal and thought-provoking and something to help us focus on ourselves. And so certainly mental health is something we need to be very cognizant of, especially during this time of COVID. For SARS, Kandace and DeShelle, I can't thank you enough. When I first heard about what it was going to be about, I was like, I wonder what that's going to be like. And I'm just so thankful. I was so surprised. When you were talking about the coping skills, I realized I love picking up my niece and nephew several times from school during the week. That's part of my coping skills. I was like, woo, look at that, part of helping my mental health. And then when I was doing the humming, I got kind of tickled to myself because next thing I know, I was breaking out in songs. But it was just a beautiful way of affirming ourselves. And so I want to thank SARS and all of our friends and family that came to join us today. And also, I just want to say this because it does remind me, I'm one of those, and I'm sure many of you are too, very guilty of always putting others first. And as you were talking about how, our cup runs empty and how we're not able to actually be an asset to others if we're not for ourselves, I started thinking about our relationship with Christ and how, we're called to serve. But initially, the first thing we have to do is have that one-on-one personal relationship with Christ. So it is about us initially, and then he allows us to go out and serve others. So what a way just to reaffirm everything in terms of our mind, our body, our spirit. So thank you so much for that. I loved it. And I just want to encourage everyone to look forward to more dynamic program from Knoxville Alumnae Chapter. We are building up for our May week. You will see the push come through our social media platforms. Also, you'll have the opportunity to look at our website. We'll have that information there as well. Thank you, and look forward to the emails from KAC that will have all the information that you have requested be sent to you today. I pray that you have a blessed and joyous day. Thank you all.